Hey, if you're seeing this, that's good because we need to talk a little business one-on-one. Here's the thing. I've been a worker my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, nobody ever told me to get a job. I just got a job. Why? Because I like the freedom of my own money. I like to go and do things. I like to have the responsibility. It's just the way I was built. Bottom line is, we're talking about employees today. Okay, so it's like for me too. If this business idea works out and I become an employee to I can employ other people, I got to remind myself that how did I get there? Yeah, I can come up with the idea and put a lot of hard work in myself, but if I can't do everything myself, I need to rely on the next person. That means they rely on me too to give them the right information and to do what I'm saying I'm going to do. So the bottom line is there's so many employees out there that just use their employees like sponges, like toilet paper. As soon as the roll's gone, they get rid of them. And it's just such a bullshit mentality, you know, on how it is. You could go into work endlessly. And let me say this again. You can go to work endlessly. Think about this. You get a job, they're like, okay, it's a 40-hour week job. But then you hear the speculation, well, we're going to give you between 35 and 37 hours a week because we don't want you to go overtime. And it's like, okay, but how much money am I generating from you? And then they tell you, okay, we'll let you work all the overtime you want. But then when you get that check, you're like, oh my God, like all that went to taxes. It's like, what was the point of me losing on my relationships with my family and my friends or my organizations or whoever I belong to and things I do in life? Because you spent so much of your time indulging in that job to get that next dollar. And here's the thing. You might make that fat check after all that overtime, or you may not. But the problem is, the more you make, the more they take. Okay. So you got to learn that, okay, this job, this is all it's going to pay within a year. This is all I'm going to generate. And this is the type of freedom that I will have access to. Now, if you accept that, then that's on you. You can't stop bitching about it. Or if you say, hey, this is all I can make and I want to make more because this is all I'm going to be able to live off of and I don't feel like that's enough, then you use that as a stepping stone, okay? You take that job. This is what I try to tell people. Go to a job, get as much experience as you can from that job. And this is for you young people, okay? Use that as your college, okay? That's what I did, is I found multiple different really good chefs when I was younger. And I said, hey, I want to know what you know, and I want to work for you and with you to gain my knowledge, and I'm willing to do that for free because you have what I want. So a lot of times these people like chefs, they take you under their wing, but you better fucking show up and you better fucking stay late and you better be that grunt. Now, it doesn't give them abuse of power to treat you like shit and ridicule you and make fun of you. You're there to learn their knowledge. At the same time, you're still a human, right? So don't allow the bullying to take over. Now, you're probably going to receive some grief because they call you a greenhorn or whatever it may be. That's just part of it or whatever. But there's a line where it needs to be drawn. You're not a piece of shit. And you're there to learn experience, not to be ridiculed on and not to be somebody's pincushion and joke of mockery. So bottom line, you may, if you get a job, that job may not have an opportunity for you to move up. But what you do is you take that information, you take every bit of that information, you say, okay, now I feel like I'm in the management material, but I'm just not a management yet because I can't move up in this position for whatever reason. So go to another job. Now that you feel like you have all those qualifications and you feel like you can do that, you go apply at your other job and you say, hey, this is what I've been training on. This is what I've been trained on. This is what I'm willing to do. And this is what I'm willing to learn. And I'm willing to keep growing. Don't ever have that attitude that you know everything because you'll never work it and make it, especially the culinary field. You got to always be open-minded. They say chefs are egotistic, but a really good one is always got his ear to the ground listening to new ideas. That's the good chef. If you act like you know everything and you treat your staff like shit, you're just a piece of shit. And that's the thing about management is you go into these workforces and there's a lot of people, and a lot of us can relate to this. You either are this person or you're not, but you go to work and there's that person that goes above and beyond that carries everybody's workload because that's just what they're doing and everybody else is just doing whatever they want to do. Well, that's called bad management because if you get hired to do a job and you're constantly pushing off your work to somebody else, why are you there? To collect a check? Who doesn't want to sit around and do absolutely nothing and collect a check? Come on. That's just a stupid question to ask. But the reality of it is, you're there to work. This isn't a place where you go and make friends and get a relationship and all that. No, it possibly can, but you got to remember, this is a freaking job. And that's another thing that people forget is I'm at a workplace, okay? I need to stop bringing all my personal information into work. I need to check my attitude at the door, and I got to remember, this is where I'm at to work. Do work. And if you want to have fun and stuff along the way, I encourage it. But don't make that your full priority. Don't be like, I have to do what this person says or that. This is a job, okay? You were there not for a team building exercise to get little gold stars and all that to tell you did a good job. This is where you actually get paid for doing your job. And that's the problem, is so many people show up and they don't want to do their job anymore. Look at all the fast food places that you go to. A lot of times they screw up your orders, they don't get it right. And here's their excuse. Well, you don't understand, man. I'm only being paid like $7 an hour. Okay, but did you apply for the job? Okay, so what was your intention when you applied for this job? Are you going to make this your forever job, or are you going to use this as a stepping stone? And that's the thing. You use it as a stepping stone and you shut your mouth and do it. You just gain whatever you can from that job, and you take that information. And if you can't move up and you feel like your quality, management material or beyond, then you go somewhere else where you can get that appreciation and actually show your skills. And remember, just because an employee needs an employer doesn't give them the right to treat you like shit neither. And that's what a lot of employees do, is they're like, well, there's so many people out there that need jobs. You either do as I say and do it right now, or I'll let you go because I have that right to do it, which is bullshit, because now they can just let you go for whatever reason. And you could be at these jobs anywhere from a week to 10 years. And they could just find a reason one day to let you go, and then now you're out of work. And that's bullshit. So just remember, nothing's set in stone, nothing lasts forever. Just remember though, if you want to be your own boss, it takes a lot of work. And everybody wants to be their own boss. But remember, if you do become your own boss, make sure you take care of your employees, because they will take care of you. Otherwise, get rid of them.